Hello?
Hey, Chris, it's Kacey.
Hi, Kacey. How are you?
I'm cool. I'm over at my parents' house because they wanted to call
Okay.
because they saw some of your videos and I gave them the letter.
All right. Actually, I'm uploading a video now. I do 51 reps with 50-pound weights. Well, not really weights, but as much as they are.
You did 51 reps or 51 times? Because
Yeah,
reps are different.
Lifted them up. 51 times, lift them up with each arm. 51 times per arm, so it's a total of 102.
Hmm. Well, was it hard?
Yeah, it was hard, but it was a show of strength anyway.
Oh, that's funny because I have to lift like 100 and more pounds for my job. But let me go ahead and get my dad for you because he wants to talk to you.
All right. By the way, what's his name? Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. It's Matthew.
Oh, Matthew. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, just give me a minute.
Okay.
Hello, Chris. This is Matthew, Casey's father.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good, good. So, looks like I have a couple questions for you. Well, maybe more than a couple. All right.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm happy to oblige with an answer, with an honest answer.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, let's see. You got a job, son?
Not currently, but I am working towards getting a job. I have been filling applications left and right.
Really, really? What kinds of places? What kind of skills you got?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm looking. I'm applying for like retail stores and such. Got an application in over at the new CVS in Ruckersville, and one over at Walmart, and I had one over at Target. I have worked before. I worked at Wendy's in the Ruckersville for a few months. Plus, also I worked as a sales representative for Cutco Cutlery.
Right, that's minimum wage stuff. Did you go to college or something?
Yeah, I went to college and I got a degree and a certificate in computer-aided drafting and design.
And you're working at Target. I mean, I know the economy's bad, but I mean, surely you've got to, use that somehow, right? I mean, how old are you again?
I'm 27, sir.
You're almost 30. You're working at Target. You want to work at Target, I should say.
Yeah, well, not really sure what kind of jobs my degree and certificate would get me, but I mean, like if I did know, then I would strike up on the job.
You got a degree not knowing what kind of jobs you could get in that field, and you've had it for how long? When did you graduate?
I graduated in 2006.
2006. So you've had it for 3 years, and you have done nothing with it. You haven't had any jobs between then.
Yeah, I did volunteer. I have done volunteer work.
That doesn't pay though. Well, but what kind? Humor me.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
What kind of volunteer work? Humor me.
All right. Well, yeah, I helped the children over at as an assistant gym leader for the Pokemon Trade Card Game League a few years back.
Pokemon? Wait,
Yeah,
that
teach them how to play and building decks from what scratch they had, and just making sure they kept in order. Don't get too crazy.
And how long ago was this?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How long ago was this? I mean, wasn't that Pokemon thing? Wasn't that like back in the 90s when that was really popular? I mean, I think my youngest daughter used to like that, but that was years ago.
It was the late 90s.
Late 90s.
Yeah, and there's that side's still going strong. But yeah, I have been doing that I haven't been doing that since from 1998 till about 2008. So about 10 years I've been doing that.
You've been playing a children's card game for 10 years.
Yeah, but also it's like it's a form of babysitting.
Babysitting, but doesn't babysitting usually pay? I mean, and that doesn't really sound like you're volunteering. When I think voluntary work, I think like Red Cross, that kind of thing. Actually going out and really helping people, planting trees, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I have helped people out. I put the parents' mind, let them know that their children were in a safe environment, and I help ensure that the children were playing and were within the safe environment, and that nothing was to go wrong. And I was respected as an authoritative figure in that sense.
Right, but and are you still doing this? I mean, or what are you doing right now? What if you stopped? Why aren't you doing this anymore?
Yeah, it was kind of like not too many of them were showing up, so it was like my choice on ending that. So yeah, it was that was kind of a sad day for me, to have to put that behind me, but we gotta move on. But anyway, aside from that, I've been searching and doing work for my yard work for my family and other sort of heavy lifting.
Right. Well, anyways, I'm done talking about Pokemon now. I got a couple more. Okay. So what kind of place you got? You got a place of your own? Where are you living at?
Yeah, I'm currently living in a 2-story house with my mother and my father.
Living with your parents, age 30. Got it.
Well.
Almost 30. Excuse me.
Almost 30. Yeah. Well. I hope that that doesn't strike you on the bad tune, but it's just like I just did not feel comfortable leaving the safety of my home for the while.
Why is that exactly?
It's like I couldn't really. I just did not feel like I just had not felt like I was ready for a place of my own just yet.
You got to leave somehow. You got to leave at some point. I mean, I think most of my kids move out 18, 20. I'm okay if they hang out while they're in college, but after that they gotta start looking for a place of their own.
Yeah. But to each their own individual growth rate.
Right, but I just got to ask though. I mean, you're really serious about Kacey, are you not?
Yes, I am serious about Kacey.
Okay, so
and with her help, I feel like I could get a good start on being able to, shortly in the near future, move out of the house,
with her help,
and get a place of my own.
You need her help in order to support both of you.
It's more like some details I might not understand. I talk to my parents sometimes about that, but it's like I it's like a whole bunch of details. You know. I mean, yeah.
Explain, please.
But anyway, yeah.
I don't know what these details are.
I just need to let you know, and I just feel like I would need external influence. Somebody outside the house to help me feel more comfortable in moving out.
You could, people are always looking for roommates. Just go to any college board. Just,
yeah.
That's not really an excuse.
That's not something I would feel comfortable at, since I haven't been to college for a few years. I keep repeating myself.
So, but I mean, really, okay. So if you can't if you can't support my daughter needs a man to support her.
I am a man, sir.
Are you about my daughter?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that question.
How serious are you about my daughter, really, if you aren't even willing to support yourself, like that?
I am willing, I am able to support myself as well. I'm able to support myself.
Okay,
and I will be able to support your daughter as well.
Okay, then why aren't you? I mean, where's the money going to come from?
Yeah, I do have a monthly income. I get.
Do you now?
Yeah, I get from the government.
You get
my
welfare.
Family is a little bit in with the government.
So why do you get welfare? Might I ask? Or whatever you call it.
You can call it a stepping stone in the right direction of me moving out and all that. But seriously though, I am very strong-willed, and I feel that I would be able to take care of Kacey.
You're avoiding my question. Why are you on? I think it's called Social Security. I mean, why do you get it? I mean, I'm a pretty strong Republican. We don't really like that whole welfare thing. We work, and if we can't work, we go join the military. That's what I did.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, you see, I'm high functionally autistic.
Are you now?
Yeah.
And
I noticed that at a young age, and I still have just a few years ago.
So, isn't that autism thing? It's not like you're not retarded, are you?
I'm sorry, not really. What?
I mean, I'm just saying, isn't that's a genetic thing, right? I mean, I don't want any, if you're really going to get with my daughter, I don't want tard babies.
Yeah, autism is not genetic.
I think I read somewhere that it was actually. Actually, I'm pretty sure I did.
No, it's a myth. That's a
myth.
Yeah,
a myth.
Autism is not genetic. You're not going to have. There will be no retarded grandchildren on your part. I can promise you that.
If you say so. If you really say so. I'm looking this stuff up right now. I mean, my Kacey, she's in medicine. She knows this stuff. She's an expert.
Yeah, but my case also.
Actually, hold on. She's right over. She's right over there. Hey, Kacey. What do you know about autism? Is that genetic?
Yeah, it's definitely genetic. It usually runs in the mother's line, but it can be in the father's as well. But it's usually the mother's.
Right.
And twins have a much higher chance. Anything else, Dad?
No, I think that's good. You go. What were you doing again?
I need
I
to go
think there's
finish washing the dishes. I'll be right back, Dad.
right. I think there's some cake down there too. Go help yourself or something.
Okay, sweet. Thanks, Dad.
Some cake down there or something. Go help yourself or something. Anyways, where was I?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay.
Well, if you really want a kid with my Casey, I think you'd probably be best if you adopt it or something. It's a good thing.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. In my case, though, I would not. I do not. I would not care to adopt. You see, I have a dream. I have my dream, and that dream is to give birth to have to share a daughter with my wife to be, and her name would be Crystal.
A dream, as in like you were asleep and you saw something,
Yeah. And plus, in the dream, I had like an office job.
an office job, right?
Yeah.
I don't think. I think Casey actually doesn't really like that name. It's kind of a stripper
Yeah.
name. Crystal. It's kind of like
No, 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 no,
Cristal too. Like that
no, no. No, it would
champagne.
not. It would not. It would not be Crystal. It would be Crystal.
It's still pretty
It would be-
close.
It's fairly. It does sound close, but it's not. You're just replacing the L. You're just replacing the CRISTLE. You're replacing the LE with an AL.
Yeah, but even so, I mean, you said this all came to you in a dream. I mean, dreams, they don't pay the bills, and I mean, it's just a dream. That's all just from your head. I mean, I had a dream once where, I was flying. You don't see me doing that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, it's like yeah, flying. Yeah, you're definitely not going to be able to fly on your own. Sure. But, it's like, when you see a dream that's actually reasonable, that you can actually picture yourself doing in the future while you're awake. Like, it's like a career thing. It's like, yeah, you definitely, it's like, when you're a child, there's a chance you could become like a cowboy if you dreamed of being a cowboy. But, that may seem kind of far-fetched if you're living in a place that's not near or in Texas. But if you're like you dream you want to become a teacher, and that is more likely that is more likely possible because you can get the degree and become a teacher.
So if you want to go be a teacher or go work in an office, go work in an office, go apply to an office. Don't dream about it. Dreams do nothing for you. They don't pay the bills.
Yeah,
I mean,
I have been working on it, and I have been taking action on looking for the jobs. And
you think
definitely looking in office jobs.
You think you have some kind of powers of prophecy? That doesn't seem very. I don't know. To me, it doesn't seem very godly.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I'm a prophet. I'm not saying that. But it's definitely something that it's definitely something that I feel that God has promised it to me, and I believe in God. I go to church every Sunday.
That sounds like being a prophet.
Yeah, well, yeah, you do. Yeah, there are prophets that are mentioned in the Bible.
Yes,
but I am not saying that I am a prophet. I'm not saying that.
Son, I go to church every Sunday too, and I've never had any kind of dreams of anything telling me that something is going to happen. God doesn't do that. God doesn't tell you things like that.
Yeah, well, you never know. Sometimes it don't. It just it depends on the people. You never know it, but you might have actually gotten a message in a dream that may have actually come, but you might have not caught on as quickly, or and I do not mean to insult you, but you might not caught on quickly, but upon retrospect, you might realize that could have been a message from God.
If you think, yeah, if you think you see the future, that sounds like you're trying to be a prophet. That sounds just like, that doesn't really sound religious. That just sounds like some, mumbo jumbo to me.
Well, I'm not saying that it is the definite future, but it is a possible future. And I am looking to make that happen.
Well, make it happen.
I am going to.
Do it. It's not, I mean, if it's not a message from God, it's just, you should go out, you should do it. You should, why don't you go, you don't wait for it. I mean, it sounds like you're just sitting around waiting for it. I mean, when did you have this dream exactly?
Yeah, I pretty much had it sometime when I was between 7 and 9 years old. And
7, 20 years ago, excuse me? And nothing has happened between then and now?
I mean, back then I was definitely like in my elementary school years.
And you hold on to this dream. I mean,
hold on to that.
I mean, you're almost 30. I mean, time is going to start working against you. I mean, life is short.
Yes, it is.
So,
I agree.
and you're living with your parents. I mean, what do you do all day exactly?
I get creative. I like to draw and color, and sometimes I like to create with my hands. I sculpt, and even go as far as just tinkering with. Whenever I feel like tinkering with, I am even technologically smart. I even took a computer upgrading class where I put together a personal computer from scratch.
So why aren't you working building computers or something? Sounds like something you could do.
Yeah, it is. Plus, also, I definitely do get some. I pretty much did get started on the techno savvy. I would say from my father, because he's a retired technical engineer. He worked for GE for a great number of years. He also was in the war. He was stationed over in Korea in the Signal Corps. He designed the controls for the plastic molding machines for one of his achievements. So without him, you would not have the plastic for at the very least the 2-liter soda bottles.
That's all fine and good. I mean, your father. I mean, but I'm not talking about your father. I'm talking about you.
Yeah, well, I'm pointing it out as him being my technological influence.
But you haven't done anything, unlike your father. That's what I'm getting here. It's not good, son. I mean, when I was 27, I already had a wife and kids. I was working 40 hours a week.
Yes. Well, my father did not marry until the first time until he was 30 himself.
Yeah, but he probably also had a job and he was probably living on his own, and he was also in the military, like me. So I don't really care about what your father did because that's what he did. It's not what you did.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. I understand what you're talking. I understand what you're talking about, and your point.
Right.
And while I am trying to make a valid point myself, I feel like that. We both are definitely are understanding each other.
Really, I must say I'm not really impressed. But let's move on. Now let's talk about a little bit about what you think about my lovely daughter. What was the first thing you liked or noticed about Kacey?
I noticed her beautiful face.
Her beautiful face.
Yeah, and her blue-green eyes are like a pair of swimming pools that I would just love to swim around and bathe myself in.
So the first thing you notice is
I'm
her
very
appearance.
polite as well, just to let you know, sir. Yeah,
First thing you notice was...
But also, I definitely like to take note, over time, over talking to her. And I've learned that, she's very smart and a whole lot very fun to hang around with. And she definitely knows what she's talking about. If anything, she could be a little bit smart. She could be smarter than me on some things.
But still, the first thing that you noticed was her appearance. So it's like, you're looking for like a trophy wife or something. It's kind of funny.
No, I did not. No. Okay, well, maybe that was the wrong thing to say. I mean, I was like the first thing I noticed about her when we met in person, but when we talked first, between phone calls and emails, after kind of an indirect internet meeting there. But anyway, I actually learned first that she was smart and very delightful to talk to. And then, after a while, she and I met in person, and then I got to appreciate her. And then I got to appreciate her face. The face and the smart, charming wit behind it.
This doesn't really add up to what Kacey told me. I mean, from the impressions I got from what she said about your first little encounter, we'll call it. She said she was a little bit uncomfortable around you. And apparently when you first talked to her, you actually were pretending to be somebody else. Actually, that other Chris. That.
Yeah, well, he was. Yeah, that was another thing. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well.
She didn't like that much.
Okay. Well, actually, yes. Well, Kim helped me. Yeah, our friend Kim. Yeah, she helped me get into that Chris's email account because before I ever learned about Kacey, he was pretending to be me. And,
that Chris, was her boyfriend at the time. Yeah. I mean, I've actually talked to that guy. Met him in person. He's actually a pretty nice kid.
Yeah, but if you notice his YouTube videos, he does get a little crazy. But anyway, for the past, I'd say greater than a month now, he was pretending to be me for at least up to a few months ago, where he pretends. I'm assuming pretend that he gets kidnapped and tied up and then sent to the desert. But then Kacey tells me that that possibly happened because police found the emotional stuff. She found him in the desert. But I'm going off track here a bit.
But that doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, why would he pretend to be you? Someone like you, guy who lives with his parents. And
okay, well, you see, well, first off, I'm internet famous for being the original creator of the. It's like a combination of Sonic the Hedgehog and Pikachu. But it's like kind of a combination parody. And so I'm like the original creator of Sonic and Roschu, the Electric Hedgehog Pokemon. And I created him back on March 17th, 2000. I drew the comic book page. I drew the comic books. I originally started that back in 2000, and I've drawn a few books up to now. I'm still doing some drawing. Because I don't like to leave an unfinished project finished.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. I mean, I barely know what Sonic the Hedgehog and Pokemon is other than it's kids stuff. So basically what I'm getting here is that you took two, like, kids things and put them together. Two copyrighted kids things. And
but it's like, but it's like a whole new character. And my father has a good knowledge about the copyrights and whatnot. And he verifies for me that I have been in the clear the whole time from the beginning. to continue on with Sanchi being Sanchi Roshi being the original creation, and I've created the original stories and everything in the books. They're on the Wikipedia, which was originally known as CWC's Sanchi site. That's CWC's my name, Christian Weston Chandler. Yeah, but anyway, I've been going on with that since 2000.
Which means you were 18 when you made this. You were, what, a senior in high school? You were playing with kids stuff? And that's what you've been doing for, what, since then? You're 27 years old. You're playing with kids stuff? I mean, like little kid stuff, like 10-year-olds.
Yeah, well, it may sound like that, but in a sense, it was definitely a fad that I was enjoying, and I just
but fads, they come and go
until when I had to let go, which was just about a year and a half ago. I had to let that go, and I let that go a year and a half ago. But anyway, getting back to.
You said it was popular still. I mean, but the thing is, but you're not making any money off of it. So I mean, you're just doing this while you sit around in your parents' house for no real reason. Because, like I said, you're not making any money off this, and
but it is a thing.
You still want to be a boyfriend.
It's a thing I could be. It's a thing that I am working on starting to make money off of. I am in talks with the comic book companies as well as Nintendo of America about about the likelihood of me being able to us getting together and making money off of this, because obviously since 2000 it became more and more popular on the internet, and I became internet famous, and along with a bunch of the fans like that,
Don't you need permission for both Sega and Nintendo? I mean, Sega is Sega, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I know a little bit about what my daughter my little daughter used to talk about. I kind of know what a Sega is, I think.
Okay, yeah, I have talked to Sega as well. But anyway, getting back to, if I may finish, yeah. Anyway, okay, I got internet famous, I got the fans, and then I got the naysayers, which were the internet bullies and trolls. And that Chris over there was he was one of them. And before I met Kacey, he started pretending to be me in YouTube videos, and he and I were in a bit of a battle of
okay, I'm sorry. This is just getting completely ridiculous. All this internet. I mean, all this internet stuff. I don't know much about computers, but I mean, this sounds like just a whole waste of time that I don't care about because it doesn't pay the bills and it does not help support my Kacey.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I understand.
I mean, I was in the military. I mean, I was doing something. I fought in Desert Storm. I fought against Saddam Hussein.
Yeah. Okay, you fought in Desert Storm. You fought against Saddam. That's all good. That's very good. That's honorable. That is honorable.
And then you made this Sonichu thing. I mean, it's like this something's not right here, But since you did bring up YouTube, I got kind of an interesting little thing that I noticed in one of your recent videos. I mean, I don't know what exactly you were thinking with this. You did that video with the 9/11. I can't say I really enjoyed that too much. I mean, that kind of hits close to home to me. I mean,
I realize that, and I have received the complaint, so that's why.
You're lucky I don't. You're lucky I don't have a YouTube, son. I mean, that hits close to home to me. My mother, Kacey's grandmother, she died on 9/11.
Sorry, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, and I mean, it's like I did not mean to hit I did not mean to hit that vast type of emotions it was originally intended as a bit of a thing against this longer, worser internet troll who goes by the name of Clyde Cash with an alias of Greg Mays.
You made a video.
It's just a whole nother story right there. But anyway,
you made a video basically just trying to mess with some guy on the internet that makes fun of one of the greatest American tragedies of our lifetime. No, the greatest American tragedy of our lifetime.
Yes, but this guy, he's done a lot. He's done a lot of things against me. Yeah, on the internet, trying to, he tries to destroy my good name with a whole bunch of twisted truths and phrases and words that I have said. He just twists them around in evil ways and just makes them and just. He's one of those that's been trying to slander my good name. And worse off.
Let me ask you something. Where were you on 9/11? I mean, they say everybody remembers where they were on 9/11 when they heard that those towers were going down, when a plane had hit those towers and thousands of people died.
Yeah, I do remember where I was on 9/11. Yeah, I was just let go from my job at Wendy's. It was from differences between me and my employer. I understand. Yeah, but anyway.
Would you like to know where Kacey was? Would you like to know where Kacey was?
Okay. Well, if I may finish. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. No. Kacey was at Ground Zero. She was giving blood and plasma, volunteering. And where were you again?
Yeah, I was out shopping with my mom that day.
Really? That's wonderful. Wait a minute. Yeah. You said Wendy's before. Are you changing stories on me? Have you been changing stories on me through this entire call?
No, I'm not.
Are you just making shit up now?
No, I am not changing stories. This is the same story. I had just gotten fired from the Wendy's, and I was feeling down. And
you'd been fired from Wendy's.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, let go. I was let go from Wendy's, and I was sad. I was sad about that. They gave me
Why?
I told you this is because of emotional differences.
Emotional differences. That's
absolutely
nothing. That just sounds like a bunch of bullshit. Also sounds a little gay. I mean, what? Were you? Did the fry cook break up with you or something? I mean, come on.
No, it was nothing. It was nothing like that. There was
why do you sigh so much? That's just irritating.
There was a whole bunch of misunderstandings between me and my employer, and he had a spike on his shoulder against me, and that was why he
kind of misunderstandings.
Slaved me on.
What kind of misunderstandings? I mean, this.
Yeah, I did some things that he thought were bad, but were actually good. And then he let me go based on that. Anyway, yeah. This was a couple of days before 9/11, and I was still feeling down from being let go. And then on 9/11, I was out shopping with my mother that day.
Good God! I mean, you sound like you're just some simpering little. I mean, your voice is all waving. I mean, and good Lord, you want to date? You want to date my daughter? I mean, you're not even giving me an ounce of respect now.
Oh, come on! I grew up a lot. I grew up a lot since then. I've grown up a lot in sound and physical and sound strength and sound mind.
God damn! This just sounds like a bunch of fucking whining. I mean, You're not even. You don't even sound like half the man. That other Chris sounds like at this point. You don't sound like you're grown up. You play fucking Pokemon.
I am a grown up, sir. I have moved on from Pokemon years ago. I am a grown up. I have moved on from the childish things.
No, you didn't move from you went from Pokemon to Sonichu. I mean, well, what the fuck? This is still just kid shit. You don't have a job. You're still living with your parents. Almost 30 years old. This is ridiculous. I mean, you want to date my daughter. I mean, you realize she's leagues above you right now. I mean, she's out of your reach.
I have suffered through my own trials and tribulations that would be warlike. I have suffered through a whole bunch of enduring physical pains as well. You just could not imagine.
Physical pains. God,
I have worked myself to the bone a lot,
ridiculous.
and I have felt heartaches, and I have
you don't know what
felt like I couldn't move on. But then I still moved on.
In the fucking chest. I mean, I'm lucky to be alive. I mean, my comrade, one of my good buddies, he wasn't so lucky. He died right next to me. I carried him back,
That was very heroic, and I commend you for that, good sir.
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure. You don't need to commend me. You're just kissing ass.
No, I am not kissing ass.
Okay. Well then. All right. I go. Okay. So really. Okay. What? Okay. So I have one more question. What do you have to offer my daughter? Really? After I've heard all this, what exactly do you have to offer a future med student? I mean, she had a good fiance, and now you think you can take her?
Yes, I could, because I can offer her a whole bunch of support that Chris could not.
Really?
Really?
He had a job lined up.
I am honest, I am loyal, I am strong.
Yeah, this guy spoke several languages. He had connections in the comic book industry. This guy could get a job right out of college, and you're mooching off the government, off of my tax money. And you want to date my daughter. I mean, these two had so much in common, Kacey and Chris. I mean, she loved everything about him, and you just sit around, play with toys and video games. Is that what you buy with your welfare money? Like Pokemon shit?
I have not played with Pokemon for years, sir.
Okay, so what do you play with? I mean, you denied Pokemon, but you didn't deny video games.
Okay, yeah, I have played some Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
The hell is that?
I have to stand up to play. I have to stand up and play guitar.
You have to stand up to play guitar. Oh, wow! Why don't you? That's just pathetic. I mean, that's not. Do you think that's exercise? Could you play a real guitar? I think that real Chris could play a real guitar.
I worked hard for my father in his garden. I pulled weeds. Those weeds are very hard to pull.
My grandma pulled weeds. My grandma had arthritis, and she pulled weeds every day.
Well, I'm sorry to hear your grandma had arthritis. But I am very strong, sir, and I'll tell you, it was very hard and torturing work to. I was working under the hot sun. Those were very hot days.
And you still look like I don't know. You look pretty fat to me. I mean, Kacey exercises and she lost weight. She looks wonderful. And you, I mean, and do you even know what is the hot sun? I mean, I've been in the Middle East. I mean, you don't know hot until you've been out in the fucking shit.
Okay, yes, I will agree with you that I cannot truly understand heat until I'm in the middle of a desert. But still, those were very hot days, and I pulled those weeds. And I even placed lumber around the edges of that garden, and I hammered labels of those flowers that my father hand wrote accurately and he showed me where to place them, and I even helped him a little bit with placing them. And I hammered those labels hard into those pieces of lumber.
That just sounds like basic chores. I mean, that's lumber, pulling weeds. On a good day, I had to do 200 push-ups. And I saw those push-ups you saw. I saw those push-ups you did, or whatever you call them, push-ups. I mean, that's not push-ups. I mean, that was, I don't know, you look like you were flopping around like a fish. You actually kind of looked like you were humping the floor or something.
I even mowed the lawn, and
mowed the lawn.
Yeah, and
wow.
Again, those were very hot days too. And sometimes the lawnmower would quit on me, and I had to practically kickstart it with my foot. I had to kick it and start it up again.
I see 7-year-olds who mow lawns, all day for a summer job, all day, all summer. They handle it just fine. Why can't, I mean, and they get paid for it, might I add.
Yeah, well, I was not paid for mowing the lawn. And also, you know what? Another heavy-duty burden I had to take care of, and that I wasn't paid for. When my dog died a few years ago, she was a sweet dog. I lifted and carried her doghouse to the site where we buried her. Her doghouse. That thing had to weigh like 5-10 tons. It was very heavy. I carried that thing.
You're talking to me about how your dog died. You're talking about someone who has lost friends and family in national tragedies. My mother, I had to deal with the loss of my mother, not to old age, but to fucking a plane by fucking piloted by terrorists. My mother was killed by terrorists.
Yeah. Well,
your heavy burden is your dog died. I'm sorry, but boo. I mean, really, I've had dogs die. I mean, it sucks, but that's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
nothing.
I was very sad when she died. And you know what? It was not a matter of age. It was pretty much, she was very sickly, and there was nothing we could do. So I signed that form to give them permission to put her to sleep. I let her go. That was an emotional burden on me. And my Aunt Karina died just last January because of heart cancer.
So are you?
It was very saddening. I was very
sorry.
close.
Are you messing with me? Are you trying to compare the loss of my mother, the loss of someone who took care of me for years, to a dog? You calling my mother a dog?
I am not calling your mother a dog.
I had to dig my mother out of the rubble of the Twin Towers. I mean, and you had to lift a doghouse.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, that doghouse was heavier than any tombstone. And that doghouse pretty much was the tombstone.
Sounds like you're fucking with me now.
I am not. I am being very honest with you, sir. I'm telling you the honest truth from my sound mind and my sound heart.
I'm starting to really kind of doubt this whole honesty thing you keep talking about. I mean, how do you think? I mean, how do you think Kacey would feel if if I told about this? What do you think how do you think she would feel about you comparing this whole lifting a 30-50 pound doghouse to maybe 100-200 pound tombstone? And that doghouse is probably made of wood. This was solid rock.
No. I mean, I'll tell you, yeah, it was wood and plastic. That thing had to weigh over 100 pounds.
Plastic's pretty light, I mean, I'm sorry. This isn't even close to the same. And that's just that. I mean, if you had told this to Kacey, she would probably be she would be so angry. I mean, you're just totally grasping at straws at this point.
Yeah, well, also I've been to a whole bunch of this. Also, to go off topic a bit, or going back to an old topic, that I have been deceived by the trolls. A bunch of them pretended to be women who I thought were honest over the internet when I was talking to them for the first time for a while.
Who gives a shit about the internet?
And some of them were actually
be a
true
man.
honest women. And those two women died. I was very heartbroken by that. And yet I was even more heartbroken when I found out.
You don't even know these people.
I may not admit. Okay, well, yeah.
Wait. Did you say they were fake women? Did you say that these women were fake? So wait, these women were probably fake. Fake women died.
I didn't. No, I'm talking about two of them. A few of them were real women.
And how many of these women have you gone through?
I have not been able to go to them. But there was this one time where I actually thought it was a woman. I actually drove a whole day's worth back and forth, almost 24 hours, from my house to Cleveland, Ohio. But it turns out that was a bad lead. I drove almost 20. I drove from 5 in the morning to 12 o'clock to about after midnight. To find the destination was a bad one, and that was an imposterous troll.
So you went to go to Ohio for a fake woman, but my Kacey just told me that you won't go and visit her, a real woman. I mean, I'm looking at Kacey right now, and you wouldn't go to D.C. That's like 2 hours away. And you've met her before, for God's sake.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was more naive back then, but I am very less naive now. I have been very less naive for about a year now.
I am not convinced.
Oh, come on! You should
come
be
on! Do you know who you're talking to, son? What the fuck is this? I mean, you're just talking back to me like a little kid. Don't yell at me, you maggot, piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, you're obviously talking to me like as if I was a child, and I am not.
Because you are a child. You're acting like a child.
I am not a child. I am a man. I am a strong man. I have been through a whole bunch of emotional and physical traumas in my life.
You haven't proven a thing to me. You've shown me nothing that could even possibly suggest that you are a man.
Well, sometimes my memory fails me.
You're just sitting around in your parents' house, crying about your little dog, playing video games, whining about women on the internet. Some lazy little maggot.
I am not lazy.
You're living with your parents and you don't have a job. How is that not lazy?
Well, maybe I don't have a job, but I do work around the house. I lift a whole bunch of...
I do those every day, and I'm retired.
And they're not just chores. They're not just chores.
Yes, they are. Everyone works around the house.
Maybe everyone works around the house, but they don't. But they differ from burden to heavy weights. I mean, yes.
I've seen, and you know, I was looking around that YouTube. I saw a video of your house. It's a fucking mess. You call that working around the house? I mean, are you trying to be you're trying to be some kind of house husband or something?
Well, most of that mess belongs to my mother, and I can't really organize it without her being able to help me, without her being able to point out where to put everything.
Oh, it's your mom's fault, and that's real mature.
She's yeah, I admit she's a bit of a pack rat, and since she retired from secretarial work, she's been a little bit more lazy. I'll admit that.
And your room was a mess too. What do you have to say about that? I mean, this is nothing. I mean, at this rate, you're not getting. You're a pack rat too.
I am not that bad of a pack rat. I mean, I even brought practically all that stuff into the house, and I had to bring in a couch, and I had to bring in the hutch, among other pieces of furniture, among the smaller pieces of stuff, smaller bunches of junk that my mom got. That's a lot of heavy lifting, and it was very hard.
Sure. I mean, all this stuff you're talking about, this heavy burden, sounds like stuff everybody has to do at least some point. You know, maybe every while. This is not. I mean, this is just regular, everyday housework. This isn't real work. This is chores.
And you don't think carrying your soldier friend on your back was a heavy burden. That was a heavy burden.
What the fuck is it? Are you mocking me?
I am not mocking you.
Are you?
I'm just pointing out that what you did was a heavy burden on yourself.
I don't even know what to say to this.
Yeah, that is a heavy burden because you were trying to save your friend's life.
Kacey, I mean, come over here. You got to listen to this. Listen to this guy. This is great.
What, Daddy?
What is? I mean, this guy's just
Daddy,
fucking.
You sound mad. What's wrong?
This guy's just fucking with me. He's not even respecting me at all. He's disrespectful.
Why did he's disrespecting you? What is he doing?
I don't know. He's just talking about this little faggot kitty shit. And how he has to move chairs and do, housework. I mean, and he's comparing that, to when your grandma died.
He's what?
Yeah. I mean, he's talking about these heavy burdens he's had to face. And he's saying it's a heavy burden, kind of like when you remember. Well, of course you remember when we lost Grandma. How would you forget?
Oh my God, I know. I had to volunteer just to get my mind off it.
I mean, and this guy has nothing to offer you.
I have a lot to offer her.
Really?
I have plenty to offer her.
Well,
don't yell at my father like that.
What?
You need to respect him. He's a retired Marine.
I do respect your father, Kacey.
Well, you need to be nice to him. What are you going to do if he doesn't like you?
I was being nice to him, but then, he started to insult me. He was talking down to me like as if I was a child when I'm an adult.
I already
Chris,
don't like.
he's way older than you. He's your elder. To him, you are a child. I'm a child to him.
Okay, well, I guess in comparison, yeah, that is true. I just don't like being talked. Just turns me off when I'm talked down to as such. I mean, I had to put up my father talking down to me as such, and he starts more arguments than there are flies in the garbage dump.
Okay, but my father doesn't get angry easily. Like, you can't act like a child like that. He is your elder. You're trying to ask him permission.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Apologize.
Yeah. Yeah. I apologize, Matthew. I apologize for talking back to you. I got carried away, especially from feeling like I was being talked down to. I mean, surely, yeah, you can understand that. I'm sure your father talked down to you, even when you were about my age. And I do not mean to insult you or your father, but I just felt like it was a fair comparison. I just felt like it was a good comparison there. But anyway, I apologize for yelling at you and raising my voice.
I don't even know how you think you can call me by my name right now. I don't believe a goddamn word you just said. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry, actually.
Well, believe it or not, it is the whole honest truth. I have been telling you this whole time.
Honest.
Well,
If that's the truth, I'm afraid to say you're pretty fucked. I mean, you're just using people from the internet as scapegoats for your problems. And you were lying when you first met Kacey. That's what I've gotten about this. You are not good enough for my daughter. Chris, on the other hand, has my blessing. And if the internet is such a problem for you, I mean, just get rid of it. I mean, what do you have to do? Just call up, whoever it is, AOL, whatever it is you use, just call them and say, I don't want the internet anymore. That's all you have to do. You don't need it for anything.
Yeah, well, I got a whole bunch.
Go to a library.
Well, I have a bunch of ties on the internet, and for information, I do go to libraries. I read a lot of books.
Really? What was the last book you read?
The last book I read was To Kill a Mockingbird.
It's high school shit. I read that.
You call it.
Kacey read that in high school. Kacey read that as a freshman in high school.
I call it adult drama.
An adult drama.
Yeah. It was very dramatic, and I felt for the characters in the story, just like I feel for all the characters in the stories that I have read.
So what exactly did you learn from this book?
I have learned that I have to be able to cope and be patient with everybody with a whole lot of people that may appear to be impatient or that can be hard to put up with. Like George had to put up with Lenny throughout the story. I mean, I'd say
that's of Mice and Men.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting my stories mixed up. Yeah, To Kill a Mockingbird. Yeah.
Did you even read this book?
Yes, I did. the dramatic story, the story about that girl who was living with her family throughout the depression, and then there was that guy next door who was nice enough to leave her gifts in the tree trunk. And that's like that was definitely a story of like you definitely learn, be kind to your neighbor, and they'll be good, and they'll be kind to you. And that's still another.
That doesn't sound like the kind of that doesn't sound like the American classic that I know. I'm sorry. This sounds like a bunch of horseshit. Do you remember? Do you remember the court scene?
I'm sorry. The what?
The court scene in the book. That was pretty big. It's a pretty major part of the book. And do you even remember who Atticus Finch was? In fact, that was probably the pivotal moment of the book.
I do believe that was the lawyer in that story.
Yes. Man, you call yourself smart? You aren't smart enough for Kacey. I mean, when did you read this?
I've read it about a month ago.
A month ago.
Yeah.
I think the last book Kacey read was last week. And she reads books, she reads books like you probably stuffed candy down your throat.
Stuffed candy. I stuff vegetables down my throat. I stuff green beans. I stuff broccoli. I stuff corn. I stuff carrots.
Wow. What the fuck are you talking about? I mean, I don't even know what the hell.
I eat and drink healthy.
And you look like that. I don't. You don't even know what I just said, do you? I mean, you completely missed that I was that little analogy back there.
No,
and Kacey says you eat McDonald's. You say you eat healthy, but you eat a McDonald's? I
have salads over at McDonald's, and I drink the lemonade over there.
The lemonade is full of sugar. Chris is fit. I mean, I've seen that man. He has rock hard abs. I mean, that guy makes a Marine proud. And he can cook. He doesn't go to McDonald's because he doesn't need to.
Well, I can cook too, and sometimes I do cook.
He and Kacey like to go running together. I mean, why don't you go running with Kacey? Rather than sitting around eating fast food all day.
I do go out for jogs, sir. I do go out jogging, and if Kacey was here, I would be happy to go jogging with her, or even running. I'd be happy to do that as well. You
think you could do 5 miles like Kacey and Chris do? 5 miles?
Yes.
That's a brisk jog.
Yes, I could do 5 miles with Kacey.
Really?
Yes.
Someone who looks like you can run 5 miles. I'm sorry, that's bullshit. You look like you couldn't even do 5 seconds running. In fact, I was watching those push-ups. You got winded after that was 30 seconds of push-ups, and you were sweating like a pig.
Well, wouldn't you sweat?
I don't sweat. With that much?
Warriors.
Fuck, that's nothing. I'm a Marine. I mean, not after a few push-ups like that. That's nothing. Okay, but so how much and how often do you jog? I mean, I sweat. Maybe after, I don't know, 10 miles on a hot day.
I have been jogging for about 15 minutes on a daily basis.
15 minutes. So you go what, a quarter of a mile, and you call it quits? That's pussy shit, and that's just jogging. I mean, Kacey could run, Kacey runs for, at least an hour.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, and 5 miles is like a 2-hour jog,
Yeah, well, I have a whole bunch of potential. I can run 5 miles with Kacey.
I would love to see that. I mean, why don't you? I mean, you can't. I mean, in the way you say you could. I mean, you're just saying you have potential. That doesn't sell me. You can't sell me with potential. And why don't you run 5 miles and maybe I'll think otherwise.
It would be hard to video record 5 mile running, but I can run 5 miles with Kacey.
You can.
Yes, I can. And I will.
But why with Kacey though? Why can't you just do it on your own? I mean, you have a camera, don't you? I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to just hold a camera and run, would it? I mean, that's easily doable.
Yeah, well,
why can't you figure out how to do that? You said you're good with computers. I don't know shit about computers, and I can do that. I barely even know what a Windows is.
You really know what Windows is?
Don't patronize me.
No, I'm just trying to understand what you just said. You say you don't understand Windows?
No, what I'm trying to say is I don't know shit about computers, and I could figure out how to do that. I could figure out how to hold a camera and fucking run for 5 miles. I mean, that's how could you not figure out how to do that?
Yeah, well, think about this. Do you think the batteries will be able to last 5 miles?
Running? Shit. I mean, you're running. You're not jogging. It's not going to take 2 hours.
Yeah, well.
And besides, think of it as like a time limit of some sort. I mean, you got to run fast enough so that you can get all of it in before the batteries run out. I mean, that would take like half an hour at most. Batteries last that long.
All right, you want half hour running? I'll be happy to do a half hour of running with my digital camera.
Fine, show me.
All right, I will.
Until then, you are not good enough for Kacey. You are just a maggot.
Well, you may call me a maggot, but I'm a pretty dang strong one.
I'm gonna go talk to Kacey. I gotta tell her. You do not deserve Kacey. I mean, Kacey lifts more than you. How does that feel? The strong man outdone by a woman.
While it may not feel pleasant, if that was the case, then I could not say I did not try. But
and while you're at it, you don't try. If you would try, you would have gotten out of your house. You would have gotten a job. You would be like Chris.
Yeah, well, I am much stronger and I am much better than Chris.
I don't think so.
But
why don't you? But you don't have a job. You're not stronger than Chris. You're not smarter than Chris.
I am stronger and I am smarter than Chris.
You're not living on your own. How can you even say that? And he's younger than you.
I say that because it's true.
I don't think so. I was so happy when Kacey said, she was going to marry Chris. But then, I don't know, he vanished or something. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, that would be the point where he made his video on YouTube where he pretended he was being kidnapped, and then that's where he hid away for a few months.
Yeah, and that devastated her. You don't know how much she missed him. I mean, I would much rather believe
I do,
him.
because she has shared that with me. She has shared that with me, and I have comforted her. I have emotionally supported her.
She wasn't nearly that. I don't think she was nearly as happy as when the police finally called her about that. I mean, I think you're just trying to get my little Kacey for a booty call.
Believe me, sir, it would not just be for a booty call. It would be for a strong relationship with all the loyalty and trust and honesty that a woman can ever want. Ever.
But you can't even move out. She needs a man who can support himself and keep a job. I mean, you got fired from Wendy's. I mean, most people quit. It sucks. You got fired. You weren't good enough for Wendy's. I mean, what are you going to do? What do you do if she gets pregnant and she can't work?
If she gets pregnant and can't work, then I would be working. I would be working very hard and heavily.
What kind of job?
If I have to, I would be one of the heavyweights that just moves the boxes around and stock the shelves at a grocery store. At the least, if not
that makes
better.
minimum wage at best. That's not a real job. You know how much minimum wage is?
The current rate is about $8 an hour.
That's not good enough. Get a good job. I mean, you can't live off that. I mean, especially after taxes.
Yeah, well,
I mean, if you want to do lifting, you go work in a warehouse or something. And last I checked, minimum wage was $7.25.
You must have checked. No offense, but you must have checked like 5 years ago.
And how would you know? You don't have a job.
Because it was over 5 years ago. I was working for that minimum wage, and that was $7.50.
That wasn't minimum wage.
Yes, it was, and that was back at Wendy's.
You know you can get paid more at jobs than minimum wage. You know, I just looked it up right now. It says $7.25.
Maybe that's the average minimum wage.
Don't lie to me. Look,
I am not lying to you.
Kacey, come on. Kacey, come over here. Listen to this horse shit. Listen to this horse shit.
What's wrong now, Daddy?
What's this he's talking about? Minimum wage is $7.25, right?
Yeah, it went up in July.
This guy's lying to me.
It rose around my birthday.
Why does it? I'm looking right here on this webpage. That's exactly what it says.
Yeah, it happened on July 24th. That was like, yeah.
Why does this guy keep lying to me? How do I know anything he says is true?
I stand corrected on current minimum wage.
Well, don't argue with me.
All right.
Is he being disrespectful again, Daddy?
It's always been. He's been disrespectful this whole time.
I have not
when
been
Kacey
lying.
says it, and when Kacey says it, you believe it now.
I just don't understand.
I don't understand either.
Well, I can't say I'm in full understanding either.
That doesn't even make sense. Like, I
What?
shouldn't have to pick up the other line and have to hear this. I mean, what are you doing? Are you trying to sabotage this?
No. Throughout this whole conversation, I have been telling the honest truth from memory, as far as I know.
Okay, but this doesn't make sense. Like, Chris charmed my dad within 5 minutes. Why are you still fighting with him? Why are you lying to my father?
I have not been lying to your father. I have been telling him the truth throughout my best and honest knowledge. From my heart and from my head.
What do you want him to think? That you're dumb or something?
No.
Well, then what's going on? Why does my dad look so upset? I haven't seen him this upset in a long time.
Well, I cannot read his mind, so.
Well, no one expects you to, but you could be respectful to him.
Yeah, I was doing my best to be respectful, but then he started.
Well, I mean, my dad's not going to lie to me, and obviously, whenever I get on the phone, you're calm and everything. So, is something going on when I'm not on the phone? Like, are you being two-faced?
No, I am not being two-faced. I have been the one face this whole conversation. I swear, hand to God.
You shouldn't do that. We don't swear to God, and my dad wouldn't lie to me.
One face side of bullshit.
Yeah, he's been contradicting me and.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna go talk nice.
I was talking nice, and then he started contradicting me with words like and putting me down, like even call me pussy, for among other things, and then that just grinded my gears.
You know, Kacey is gone. And she's not listening right now. She didn't hear anything you just said. Stop sighing so much.
Well, I'm speechless at the moment.
And didn't you just hear hear her say she was getting off?
Hear her say she was getting off?
Do you pay attention to anything ever? To the words that I am saying?
But I did not hear I'm getting off.
Do you even listen to her or her at all? I mean, how can you be a good boyfriend? You don't listen to anything.
I do listen. And she must have said in a quiet tone because I did not hear it.
But she was pretty upset. She wasn't that quiet.
Well, I'm sorry she's upset.
And now what I'm saying right now is that, before you can say you are better than Chris, you need to get a job, you need to move out from your parents, you need to be independent. You need to show me that you are a man, and you also have to have the ability to not lie to me. So I'm getting all tongue-tied because you don't know how just frustrating this is. I mean, I haven't done that in years.
Yes, I agree with you. This is frustrating.
I mean, and you were lucky her mother isn't here.
And I promise you, I have not been lying.
How is this frustrating to you? I mean, You sound like you just have the easiest life in the world.
Because you're frustrated, and your frustration is reflecting onto me, and it's making me feel frustrated.
You sit around. You mean what are you gonna do after this? You're gonna go home. You're gonna go play video games again or something?
No.
And nobody can get you to do anything. You play your Pokemans, watch TV, sleep, eat McDonald's. That's your life.
That is not my life. It's a lot more than that. I do a lot more than
Oh yeah, you do. I forgot. You do chores too.
See, this is what I was talking to Kacey about.
You talk to the and you get angry at people on the internet who you've never seen before.
Yeah. See, right now you're just saying some of the things that said aside from the good, from the honest, aside from the good things. Yeah, everything I said, I have been very honest about, and you're just taking the bad pieces you're just taking some of that honesty and you're just reflecting it onto me, and you're just making it sound bad, like it's a bad thing, and that makes me feel bad.
It is a bad thing. I mean, what good qualities do you have that aren't lies? I mean, you started this whole relationship on a lie. My daughter doesn't deserve that, and now you're blaming me for all this that's going on.
Okay, well, you did not.
You just met me.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm talking to you over the phone. That is.
I mean, you don't. It just sounds like you don't want to admit any of your faults. You just.
I am happy to admit my faults.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for one, sometimes I don't think things through, and I may end up in the decision I thought was good at first may end up being the bad decision. But yeah, I have been improving on that and thinking things through fully.
Everyone does that. Everyone, makes a mistake every now and then. Okay.
Yeah, we're on.
Okay, let's start with something easy. Let's tell me that. How about you admit? How about you admit you're? Well, okay, I'll just say it. Fat and lazy.
Okay, well, I admit I do have a Buddha belly. But I am not lazy. I do get out and about. I exercise. I jog and work out, and I eat healthy.
Doesn't show at all. How often do you watch TV? I mean, and you said you jog for 15 minutes. That's not going to burn calories.
Yeah, well, I'm working up to 30 minutes.
30 minutes. And compared to how does this compare to how much TV you watch?
For your information, I watch only about 4 hours of television.
4 hours of television.
In a day.
A day. I don't think that's true. That just doesn't sound. I mean, you kind of paused right there. You sound like you actually had to think about it for a second. I don't think that's true.
Well, when I had to count it up, I did have to think about it. But yes, it is true. I watch 4 hours of television in a day.
4 hours, that's still quite a bit. I mean, hasn't Kacey told you anything about this, how important it is to take care of yourself?
Yes, we have talked about that. And I have listened to her about that. And I have been taking the appropriate steps and abiding with her words in my mind and heeding her advice.
Really? Because she's still pretty worried about you. She says, she thinks something's gonna happen to you. She thinks it's not looking good. I mean, and didn't she? And she told me you're on Lipitor. I mean, I know about that stuff. I mean, that's something people my age take. I don't take it myself, but I know people who do. They're.
Yeah, well, for your information, my doctor took me off the Lipitor a couple of months ago.
Really?
Yes.
I still don't think you still don't sound like you're terribly healthy. I mean, okay, how much? Okay. Watching TV aside, and you play video games. How long do you do that a day, huh? I mean, how much you sit around, your metabolism must not be so hot.
How long do I sit around? I would not say that I sit around that much.
And
I
play
would say
video. How much do you play video games?
about 2 hours in a day.
2 hours a day.
Yes.
Okay, so that's at least 6 hours you spend sitting around doing absolutely nothing in your room. That's a quarter of a day. I mean, you don't know how much. I mean, in 6 hours, you could have worked a part-time job.
Yeah, well, but the time I do not spend it for television, the time I spend exercising, that's about half of the day.
You do not spend half a day exercising. If you spent half a day exercising, you would have at least lost that little Buddha belly and those man tits of yours.
Okay, now I'm feeling insulted with what you just said there.
And you just told me 15 minutes, so you're lying again.
Yeah, well, 15 minutes jogging upon the pacing of the spacing of the jogging.
Wait, so you don't even run 15 minutes altogether? Like at one time?
They're 15-minute intervals. Like I do 15 minutes in 1 hour, then the next hour I do another 15 minutes of jogging.
But that doesn't help you at all. I mean, all that. I mean, and 45. But that means there's 45 minutes of you doing nothing every hour. I mean, by then your heart rate has gone down, and the exercise is going to do nothing for you.
My heart rate has been good. I can guarantee that.
Do you even know what you're talking about?
Yes, I
do. Do you even know how to check? Do you even know how to check your heart rate?
Yes, I do.
Okay, how?
I put my fingers on my pulse and then count the number of beats through 10 seconds, and then I multiply by 6.
Where do you check? Where do you check? Where do you check for your pulse?
Put 2 fingers on my wrist or on my neck. Or put it on my chest.
Okay.
Put it on my chest where my heart is.
Okay, so what's a good heart rate for you?
About 72 beats per minute.
72 beats per minute?
To about 100 beats per minute.
Okay, so what's your heart rate right now?
All right. All right. So we multiply that by 6. Yeah. It's approximately 84 right now.
84 from just sitting around?
Whoa. Hold on. I've been listening. Chris, that's a serious medical condition. What are you talking about? Normally, your heart doesn't beat that fast unless you've done exercise. That's like arrhythmia or tachycardia. What are you doing?
Yeah, well, right. Yeah, well, I did get a little bit of stress from some of the conversation.
Stress doesn't do that. That's like a serious medical condition. And I heard you talk to my dad. You don't listen to anything I say when I worry about you. You still go to McDonald's, and I told you those salads aren't healthy. I bet you haven't even lost 1 pound. mean, don't you care that I think you're gonna die? That you're probably gonna lose motion in your body because you don't exercise enough? This is important to me.
Yeah. It is.
Like, what are you gonna do if you're gonna die before 30?
Hmm.
I mean, if anything,
Okay,
that means you have way too much caffeine in your system. If you have something that high, I mean, that's either, you can get that from like smoking, from too much fat, from too much caffeine.
Yeah.
It's like you don't even care. Dad was right. You are being disrespectful.
Yeah, Kacey, I do care. Even though it may not sure, I do care. Believe me.
Yeah, because it's that hard for you to stop going to McDonald's, but you've still been going, right?
I have been
It's
going
not like
less.
I didn't. Less is not none. Fast food is bad. Period. At the end.
I go to McDonald's like once a week. Once in a week.
Once a week is bad. Don't eat any. None.
All right. I won't go there anymore. I won't go to McDonald's anymore.
Or any fast food.
All right. I will not go to any fast food.
Whatever. It's not like you haven't lied to me before. You're just probably lying to me now. Dad,
I'm not
I can't
lying
deal
to
with
you.
this
I
anymore.
promise
can't
you.
deal
I
with this.
promise you. I promise you, Kacey. I promise you.
She's gone again. You know, she was pretty. Let me just say, you just blew it, man. She was crying right there. You just fucking blew it, big time. I just heard the door slam. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she goes and calls Chris.
Well,
what do you have to say for yourself?
all I can say is that's your opinion, and you have every right to your own opinion.
It's not my opinion. It just happened. What the hell are you talking about? I'm talking about facts.
Yeah, you're talking about, yes, you are talking about facts, but you have expressed a whole bunch of your own opinions about what you've heard from me the whole conversation.
And that's all you have to say about the fact that you just upset my daughter? What do you...
That's my response about you, but as for Kacey, yeah,
I
just feel very sad.
I don't care about what you have to say about me. This is about... You should care about Kacey, not me. I mean, you have to do something big.
I care about Kacey. I truly do.
Oh, okay, but if you want my opinion right now, I think you should stay away from my daughter unless you really, really turn around your life. I mean, if you're not even close to Chris right now, you have to do something big to get her back. You have to get a job at the very least. Lose, I don't know, 50 pounds, move out. Then I might consider you maybe.
Okay.
And you have to keep your promises because she says you never do.
I do keep my promises.
And I think she should be with her real fiance right now. I mean, he treats her like a princess. And you treat her like a set of tits and ass.
No, I treat her like a princess as well. And I treat her, more importantly, as a friend. A true friend.
Doesn't sound like it at all.
You don't know. I mean,
I do know, because she talks to me.
Okay, well, points of view.
God, I can't even stand your voice. So whiny. All this sighing. It's like a baby. You'll never be as good as Chris at this rate.
I am a lot better than Chris, believe me.
You're not even a functioning human. You're leeching off my government. I met Chris in real life, and he's an upstanding young man. How are you better than this?
I am an American. I am proud to be an American, and I am strong. I am an individual.
Don't tell me you're an American.
I was born in America. I was raised in America my whole life. I never left the United States of America.
You're not. You can't tell me you're patriotic. I mean, that you made. If you were a patriotic, you wouldn't even thought about making that video, that 9/11 video. I mean, I still can't believe why you made that. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, you don't do that. I mean, you're acting more. I mean, you're not acting like a patriot. You're acting more like a terrorist.
Well, I'm sorry I gave off that impression. But at least I was man enough to admit that I was wrong, and I did my best to undo the mistake by deleting that video and making the apology.
You know, Chris and Kacey are Americans too. I mean, and sorry doesn't undo the fact that you made that video.
May not, but at least I admit I was wrong. And it takes a man to admit when he is wrong.
And you still made it. I mean, you're not a man. I mean, you stop trying to call yourself a man. I mean, it takes a real man to change, you know, and you haven't.
I do change my habits. I have been changing my habits, and I have been better from the habits that I have changed.
That's a lie. You haven't done shit.
I have done a lot more than you are thinking right now, or that you could ever think at this moment.
You said you stopped eating McDonald's, and you didn't. I mean, that's such a simple little thing, and you still lied about it. I mean, you can't stop eating fast food. What makes you think you can turn around and get a job and stop leeching off the government and stop lying to Kacey?
Because I am me, I have faith in me, and I am strong within myself.
I bet you don't even love Kacey.
I do love Kacey.
I bet if Kacey left you right now, right this very moment, you would, you'd probably cry for maybe just a couple of seconds. Then you'd go out and find another girl on the internet, wouldn't you? And and if you do love Kacey, you don't love Kacey nearly as much as Chris loves Kacey.
I do love Kacey truly and deeply, and I care about her about that much, probably more.
And so does Chris. And he can prove it. So why don't you? You can't even stop eating McDonald's for her.
I can so prove it, and I will.
God, he knows her favorite color and her favorite flower, and I'm sure you don't.
her favorite color is turquoise.
Turquoise? That's wrong. Okay, favorite flower.
It's a blue-green shade.
It's not even close.
I cannot say I remember her favorite flower at the moment.
Aha. Really?
But then maybe because she did not mention her favorite flower yet. But she did tell me her favorite color, and it was a blue-green shade. So turquoise is close.
Can you remember anything? Man, okay. I bet you don't even remember some of the stuff I just said today. You probably don't even remember who in my family, died in 9/11, do you? I just said that, what?
You said
half
that
an hour ago?
your daughter was giving blood in New York, right by that 9/11 site.
Okay, but who died? Who of my family died in 9/11?
The grandma.
My grandma?
Her grandmother.
Who is?
You did not mention her name.
No. No. Okay. Her grandmother, who is
Your mother.
How long did that just take you? Good boy. I mean, yeah, this is just like talking to a preschooler.
I'm sorry, talking to a what?
A preschooler. God. This is... Man, you can't have Kacey with this kind of... This is just ridiculous. I can't believe I'm talking to someone who's so naive.
You just crossed a line. You just crossed a line by saying the word naive. That is like the worst insult to me.
What line?
A line. You crossed the line. You just really ticked me off right there when you said that.
What are you going to do about it?
Nothing at the moment.
Nothing at the moment.
Because I can't really do anything. I'm not right there in front of you now, am I? I'm talking to you over the phone. The only thing I can do right now is let you know that you just crossed the line by saying that word.
Wait a minute. Are you trying to threaten me? You trying to threaten an ex-Marine?
No, I am not threatening you. I am not threatening you. I am in no position to threaten an ex-Marine. And I understand that, and I respect you as such.
Okay, so what are you saying? Because I could whoop your naive little ass with my pinky if I wanted to. If I wanted.
And
Kacey could whoop your ass. I'm surprised she hasn't already.
well, I would be able to defend myself.
So you would hit Kacey?
No, I would not hit Kacey.
Have you ever defended yourself?
I have defended myself.
No, I'm sure that was something to see. Have you... I mean, I'm sure I can see, what would just happen. And she'd probably try to throw a punch and just bounce her off with your Buddha belly, or so you call it.
I would either step to one side or block it with an arm.
that little limp-wristed twig of yours. I mean, you're pretty big, but you get some pretty scrawny arms. And you're a pretty big target. I mean, she'd be pretty hard to miss you. I mean, I've seen her punches.
Okay.
I don't think you'd be able to react fast enough.
Yeah, well, you have not seen how fast I can react.
You can't even react fast enough to what I'm saying.
Because I'd like to spell check and make sure I'm not making any mistakes. Make sure that my mind and my mouth are in sync.
Making
That my
mistakes.
mouth does not go faster than my mind.
What do you even...
That is another one of my thoughts I am willing to admit. Sometimes my mouth goes faster than my brain.
What else? I bet that's not the only thing that goes faster than your brain. I mean, are you like are you trying to say you're some kind of computer or something? But this is you're getting completely off the point. I mean, okay, so tell me why exactly you aren't naive. Why is this crossing the line so much?
Because it's insulting my intelligence.
I mean, what line did I cross
exactly?
That.
You made me feel anger.
I mean, because you haven't proven your intelligence to me. I mean,
just like a computer, my brain is random, and it picks up memories at random. I cannot simply access them sometimes, even though most of the time I can, but sometimes I can't, and they later come back to me at random.
Okay, well, here's how intelligent you really are, and that's because being naive has absolutely nothing to do with intelligence.
Look it up in the dictionary.
I have looked it up in the dictionary. It has nothing to do with intelligence. What are you talking about? What dictionary are you looking up?
Webster's.
I'm sure. If you think naive as I'm sure. You're just saying autism is probably just some sort of blanket term for retarded for you, isn't it?
I'll admit I have had some slow-minded moments, but I am certainly not totally retarded.
No, I'm looking at my dictionary. Right, you know what naive means? It means unexperienced, not unintelligent. I shouldn't be calling you naive. I should just be calling you a dumbass. But you are naive as well.
I've got a lot more experience than you could imagine. I've had 27 years of experience.
With what? Eating McDonald's and watching TV? Son, Chris is younger than you, and he has had far more experiences than you have. And I've had 52 years of experience.
Yeah, well, how about being pinned down by 3 teachers, a guidance counselor, and the elementary school principal, and having your screams and cries recorded on audio tape like a torture chamber?
What the hell are you talking about?
I was pretty much in that situation back in the 4th grade.
What did you do? Have some kind of temper tantrum?
No, they were scared of me. They did not understand autism.
So what? So you just had some kind of retard panic attack and they didn't know what to do.
It was not a retard. No, it was not. They just hated me because they did not understand people with autism. And so they tortured me as such. I even ended up with a rash on my neck from that thing, among other things. And we had to fight the school system. They wanted to put me in a mental institution. But that
because you need help. That's probably where you belong. I mean,
I
and
do
you
not
call
be-
the other,
do
and you
not
call
belong in a
Chris
mental.
crazy. This is
If
ridiculous.
if I had gone to a mental institution, I would not graduate high school or get my certificate and degree in computer drafting and design. I moved up from what you would consider a retarded state of mind.
I know retards with college degrees. You know, they probably felt sorry for you, and they probably just kind of let you through. That's probably what happened. You know, schools do that. And you know, those other, you know, I call them retards, but I mean, you know, really they're pretty good people. But, you know, they actually did something with their degrees, believe it or not. I mean, people with Down syndrome have done more than you. And that degree has done nothing for you.
It has done a lot. It has done a lot for me. It's given me the whole bunch of computer experience and potential that I have. And I will get an office job. And I will move out of this house. And I will run 5 miles.
But you haven't done any of that. I mean, if you're going to say it, then do it.
I would not be saying it if I was not going to do it. That is a promise.
You better do it, you know, before Kacey runs back to a real man.
Okay, then.
So I'm thinking that's going to happen pretty soon here. I mean, 27 years and you haven't changed.
Well, she and I did not meet 27 years ago. She and I met a few months ago.
And you haven't, and she wasn't alive 27 years ago, so that doesn't even make any sense.
Well, what you said there a moment ago equally did not make that much sense either. It was like you were implying, like as if she actually knew me my whole 27 years.
This is just this is insulting to my intelligence talking to you. I mean, you've shown me nothing but disrespect. I mean, I'm sure you show Kacey hardly any more respect than you show me. I mean, I've been trying to open your eyes here.
I have shown you respect for a while during the conversation.
Now, if this is the kind of respect you show me, I would hate to see what kind of respect you show Kacey.
I show Kacey a lot of respect.
I mean, you probably don't even respect her as a person. I mean, you know her.
I do respect her as a person.
You know, her sister said you kept trying to touch her when you met her.
Because I was nervous at the time.
You were nervous? What the hell kind of response is that? You're nervous, so you try to touch you try to touch a girl? What the hell? That's just sick. I mean, that's my daughter. You're trying to touch a girl. You're trying to touch my daughter because you're nervous. I mean, most people try to avoid touching people when they're nervous. God, I can't believe I just heard that. I should come and kick your ass right now.
I only touched her shoulder, and I thought it was a friend gesture.
Her shoulder? That's, that didn't. I heard otherwise. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sorry too.
Did you try to kiss her?
No.
Bullshit. I mean, she told her sister about what you did. I mean, I know. Are you telling me that Kacey lied?
I'm not saying that. I am not saying that.
Are you trying to tell me that? I heard. I mean, I heard you did all kinds of other weird shit. You tried to sniff her or something.
She was sharing her perfumes with me.
I don't think so.
She wanted my opinion on which perfume smelled better.
She gave it to you She said she gave it to you in the bottle first. She could have just, opened the bottle and sniffed it. You didn't have to sniff her to do it. I mean, it's a little creepy.
She had wanted the perfume she wanted me to give an honest opinion about on her.
You did it. You did it in front of her and her friend. I mean, have you ever done this before? Is this something you do when you meet girls?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that?
Have you ever done this before to another girl?
Yeah, what we've been talking about the sniffing thing. I just want to make sure I understand what we're talking about here.
Yes, anything, any of this creepy shit. This touching, this kissing that I've been told you try to do.
Well, first off, I can definitely honestly say I have not kissed a girl
tried
yet, or even tried to.
Really?
Truly.
Man, I don't believe. I mean, I don't believe a word of that. How many dates have you even been on?
In my lifetime, only one.
Only one.
And this was a few months ago, before I met Kacey.
Before you met Kacey?
Yes.
And how did that turn out? I mean, how did she act toward you? What did she think of you?
It turned out that girl just wasn't all that into me.
I mean, and Kacey met you around August, didn't she? I mean, that was a couple months ago. So how far along was this?
That one date was last June.
And why exactly? And now, why exactly do you think she wasn't interested in you?
I don't know. I am not a mind reader.
But so you can't think of a single reason of why she might not have been interested in you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can honestly say that I cannot.
I mean, you can't think of maybe. I could think of a couple reasons right off the bat why a girl would not have been into you. I mean, I didn't even need to think about it. I mean, you can't even take them on a real date.
I took her on a real date. Took her to Applebee's, and I paid for her for what she ate and what she drank there.
You paid for her.
Yeah.
How much was that?
That was about $10.
$10.
Yes.
That's $10 for dinner. Are you sure you just didn't go to McDonald's again?
No, this was Applebee's, and Kim was there. She could tell you the same. She could tell you the same thing.
So where would you take Kacey? You know, she's a pretty high class girl. I mean, I'm sure you probably didn't even tip.
I'm sorry, I did not understand the second half of that sentence. After you said Kacey is a high class girl.
You probably didn't. I said you probably didn't even tip. And so where exactly are you going to take Kacey?
Oh yes, I did tip.
Do you even know how much you're supposed to tip?
About 15 or 20%.
So how much did you tip then? If you paid $10,
I tipped $1.50.
Really?
Yes.
That's still pretty cheap. Kacey probably wouldn't like that if you tipped her that much. I mean, she's a waitress, right? Tips are pretty important to waitresses.
Yep, I understand that. Tips are important. But still, 15% of 10 is $1.50.
That's true. Okay, so how much would you get? How much would you tip if you paid, say, $80 for dinner, which is very possible if you go to the kind of places Kacey likes to go?
Let's see. That would be about $12.
So you would just pay $12. You wouldn't go up to you wouldn't even just toss them a 20 or something. Can you even do math?
Well, I cannot say that my family is of the high class, hoity-toity, rich type of people. We are on average income.
You could at least they're not rich either. I mean, they still left at 20.
Well, good for them.
You're not even on an income. I mean, income would be like, you actually have a job. God, man, Chris treats her so much better than you. Shows her so much more respect.
Yeah, well, I gave you respect throughout the beginning of the conversation.
You've given me
For a
nothing.
long while, and then I started to feel insulted from being talked down about the honest details I talked about, and that she told you like about the McDonald's and the video games and that sort of thing, when I am so much better than that.
And I have not seen any of this because it probably doesn't exist.
It does exist.
I mean, telling the truth it's not made of Pokemans and all that.
It is not.
I mean, and how are you better than all this? I mean, you're doing this is. I mean, You're doing. You're doing exactly. You're just doing just that. You're just talking about stupid fucking Pokemans and shit. I mean, that's all I'm really getting about you is you do nothing but what exactly you have said.
Okay,
I mean,
well,
you
what
need
you
to be
said,
better, not say you could be better.
at least I am honest when I say I could be better. At least I don't go about lying, pretending that I am an astronaut.
You're not.
That's
You're
right.
not being honest.
No, I have been honest. Otherwise, I would have said that I was an astronaut, but that would be lying. And I have not been lying in this conversation.
Would have been a pretty bad lie too.
I know, but that's just an example off the top of my head at the moment.
You don't even have the eyes to be an astronaut. I mean, come on. You have the weight. You especially don't have the weight.
Well, I'll just say that this has been the most experiencing conversation, and I wish you a pleasant evening. Take care, Mr. DeVoria, and stay safe. And please give my most fondest regards to Kacey as well. I love her, and I care about her very much.
Don't you hang up on me. When
Because
did I say that this conversation was over?
Well, you could say the insult, and I'm getting tired of the insults. I feel like I need to go
Uh,
I feel like I need to go take a shower and get ready to sleep. I mean, we are in the same time zone. It's 10 after 2 right now.
yeah, actually, that's fine. You can go whine and you can weasel your way out of this. You don't even deserve my daughter. I mean, what are you gonna do after this? What are you gonna do tomorrow? You're gonna get up, sleep. You're gonna get up and play video games again. That's that's.
I will not be that way. I am going to get up and I'm going to be finding a job in the office. And I am going to be jogging for 15 to 30 minutes.
I don't believe in. You know what Kacey's gonna do? She's gonna go to school and she's gonna call Chris back. That's what she's gonna do.
Well, that's what you think she's going to do. You do not control her.
Because and you know why she's gonna do that? It's because because he's the one she wants. You know that song that she made for Chris? She made it for her. She made it for him, not you. And you know that song, that whole new world from that Disney movie? Yeah, she made that for him.
No, she told me she made that for me.
Oh no, she didn't.
Oh, yes, she did.
I think I know my daughter a little better than you do.
Well,
He even sang it for her. I mean, what really made you think it was for you?
Because she told me so herself.
She told me that she made it for him. Unless you're saying she's lying.
I am not saying she's lying. Because
I saw that video. You didn't even know the lyrics of that song. You had to look it up. You could I could see the paper in your hand. And you had to sing over the words. You didn't even get the the karaoke version or something. How could you possibly have known the lyrics?
I have watched the Aladdin movie a whole number of times. I would say greater than 10 times in my lifetime at this point.
And you know how I know that was made for him and not you? Because that song was their song. They know it by heart. And that has always been their song.
Okay.
They were going to sing it to each other at their wedding.
I see.
Well, this is really well, this has really been enlightening. Learning about, just how unworthy a person could be for my daughter. How much of a I have to congratulate you though, because you totally did a great job at getting Kacey and Chris back together.
Seriously, Chris, how could you? You've been so insulting to my father and everything. Chris would never have done this. Maybe I did make a wrong decision. I don't think I can do this. Maybe I was thinking of him all along. Maybe I just displaced things. I can't believe you would do this. I was crying, and all you did was argue with my father. You didn't even care to get him to check on me or see if you could talk to me. Chris would never have done that. Chris would have demanded to talk to me right away, and he would have calmed me down. I mean, obviously you misunderstood me.
I guess maybe I did.
You know what? I don't want you. I don't want this. I don't need this right now. I have so much going on with finals and everything, and this is the way you're going to act? Yeah, my dad's right. You're going to have to do something huge. I mean, you can't even work on the comic you promised me. You made me a stupid little Big Planet thing. Where the hell's the comic, Chris? You know what? You probably still won't make it. So, you know what? I can't do this. You need to totally reform your life. I mean, Chris would have come by. He would have driven the 2 hours just to comfort me once he heard I was crying.
Yeah, well, if I knew where you were, I would have given 2 hours as well. But I did not.
You know you won't. You always want me to come to you. It's stupid.
I mean, yeah, I would have asked. I mean, I did ask you for your address, and I did ask you for your phone number. So
and I told you that you can't get it until you get my parents to trust you because you know they're overprotective, and you think this is the way to do it. I bet you're not even going to finish the comic. You can't even finish it tonight. Or anything. You can't do anything.
I can so.
Well, obviously you're not motivated enough because you haven't done anything like that. Like, you promised me a song a long time ago. Never got it. Chris has written me like 3 songs. You promised me tons of things. You never keep your promises. You just sit around playing video games. You made a stupid little Big Planet thing for me. I mean, come on. All I wanted was the damn comic. All I wanted was you just to pay attention. You don't even pick up the phone anymore because of the trolls, because of the stress. I can't do this. I want a real man. You see, you can't even say anything. Dad, I think you're totally right.
Yeah, don't tell him where we live. I don't want my name and number. No, I don't want him to know my name and number.
See, look what you've done, Chris. Look what you've done.
I'm sorry.
It's not like you're going to do anything to make up for it. So you know what? I don't even care. Dad, you can do whatever. That's all he could say. I'm done.
I don't know. I don't think I want to get in trouble.
He's not, Chris. Screw this.
I don't want to get in trouble for beating the shit out of this faggot anyway.
I'm going to go. This is too much for me. You can finish this off, Dad.
I'm sorry. Have a safe, good evening.
So, what are you going to do now?